Welcome into the Sports Buffaloes Podcast. Yo, okay, let's get on out there once again, you guys out there listening. Thank you so much. This is take number 2, by the way, here. The Sports Buffoons are back with you once again here out of Lenexa, Kansas, this time at a different place than normal. We are at Limitless Brewing Company here, right between Flum and Lackland Road on Dice Lane, 95th and Dice Lane. So, guys, this is draft week. This is the week we've all been waiting for a while. It's finally in Kansas City, which is one of the most exciting things we've had in this town in a while, other than, a couple championships we've had over the last few years. But guys, first and foremost, before we kick it off, I got Tanner to my left.
What's up, everybody?
And Jason JG to my right.
What's up, yo?
And Mike Settle running it here. Guys, being at this brewing company was this tremendous beer, tremendous IPAs, even some other selections along the way too. What are we sipping on to kick this show off, guys?
I got the Dogleg Lager, one of my favorite out there, but I will be getting hopefully one more beer before we leave this place today.
That's the goal.
I'll tell you what, you guys know that watch the JG. I'm not what you would exactly call an IPA guy, but right now I'm sipping on the Working Titles Triple IPA, and it is smooth, guys. I love it. So I'm going with the Working Titles Triple IPA, and at the same time, not that I like to mix my drinks. Don't put me on that, but I do it from time to time. I'm also going with the West Bottoms Bourbon, and so a couple of great drinks going on here.
He's double fisting right now to prepare himself for the extravaganza that is the NFL draft on Thursday that we'll be at all 3 evenings. For me, myself, I got a couple of my own. I got myself a Working Titles as well to go along with the Strawberry Kiwi Cream Ale. Another one that's terrific. These guys are probably the best cream ale brewery that I've ever come to.
Yeah, you don't get those very often.
It's incredible the way they put things together, and the cream ale aspect is really shows through whenever it comes with their beers over here at Limitless. Yeah, guys, it feels good to be in this place and doing a podcast from here.
It's our first time in the brewery we come to the most often.
It's been our home. You guys have heard us out there listening. You guys have heard us before talk about Limitless Brewing Company and all that in the past. So, anyways, guys, it's the perfect way to kick off draft week.
All right, so we are live. We are at an event, so you guys can online. You guys can comment. We'll get your name in. We'll take care of you there in the drawing. But if you guys in attendance right now, if you haven't yet, there's some tags up here, your raffles. You fill your name out, fill your info out, put it in the Chiefs helmet. And if you come up throughout the show, maybe ask a question, participate in some trivia, you guys can also add additional raffles into the prizes we have. The prizes we have is a glass set, a football glass set with that little turf coasters. Pretty cool. We got 2 Chiefs Kingdom flags from this past year and a free jersey of your choice that we'll announce at the end. Brought to you. Thanks to Let's Talk Sports, Dan at Let's Talk Sports. He is hooking up with the jersey of your choice. So make sure you get that raffle in there. We'll announce that jersey at the end of the show. We'll announce the other prizes throughout the show. And again, you get extra tickets for participating in the open mic we have at the end of the chair here.
And is it true, Tanner, also if you're listening online, you also have a chance to win a jersey as well?
That is correct. You are entered in that jersey raffle.
I wonder if you're crazy enough to double up. Maybe if you just happen to be on our YouTube page and follow along there while in person.
We got a few of our ping pong buddies here, and there's only one guy crazy enough to do that, and that's Conrad. So
I could see it. He wants some free Chiefs jerseys or something. He's thinking that way. Guys, all right, we've got a lot to get to, of course, today. Once again, we're going to do a mock draft here later in the draft. We're going to talk first and foremost about the offseason of the Chiefs, though, and what's been going on so far and what to expect of this NFL draft. So far this offseason, fairly quiet, but are we overly surprised? I mean, that's kind of the Chiefs' MO most of the time. Looks so far, we've got just a few additions. Jawan Taylor coming over from the Jaguars. Looks like he's going to be the left tackle of the future at the moment.
That's what it seems like.
Same exact day. We also picked up Charles Omenahu. And that was a guy who it looks like he could play a little bit of outside, a little bit of inside, came from the 49ers. But overall, just an addition to the D-line that is going to be nice to have, especially with the departure of, I can't believe I'm saying this, Frank Clark.
Yeah.
So we need to have guys in the mix.
A veteran presence that can contain the end is a big deal. That's why we brought in Omenahu in from San Francisco. Jawan Taylor, I love that. I think it's honestly an upgrade from what we had Orlando Brown Jr. Another guy we brought in, Richie James, wide receiver from the Giants last year. You know, a guy that has potential to be a weapon for the Chiefs team.
Which that was probably the quietest 700 yards I've ever seen.
It is
out of Richie James, just because it's like, okay, the guy went with the Giants, 700 yards. Daniel Jones had a pretty good season, an efficient season, and he's now with the Chiefs. And it's like, what kind of role is he going to play with this team? Because he put up much more production than a lot of the guys that were already on this roster last season anyway. Like, are we assuming he's going to fit into that, like, Mecole Hardman role? I mean, what is his upside in your opinion?
It'd have to be more of a kind of a slot, and that extra guy that gets those random yards. Sky Moore from last year, essentially.
Sure,
that kind of role.
Sky Moore didn't score a touchdown though until Super Bowl.
No, I don't expect.
We want TDs up in this place.
Look, I think TDs are going to come elsewhere next year.
Okay. Well, at least Blake Bell did resign as well. And the other one of my favorites was Drew Tranquill coming over from the Chargers.
Yes.
I think that is an awesome addition to the linebacker group because you've already got, obviously, young guys in that position. You got Nick Bolton, you got Willie Gay, and Drew Tranquill coming over. He's 27 years old, so he's going to be not kind of the veteran of the group, but I see him getting plenty of playing time, especially in passing downs.
It's kind of nice, too, because he has a little feel of the division that we're in right now, too. He's played against these teams. He's played against those quarterbacks, so having a guy, another veteran presence coming into this linebacking core, upgrade from Darius Harris, who we let go.
All right. So, JG, what do you think of so far the offseason moves and free agency for the Chiefs? Have we done enough?
Yeah. I mean, I think at this point at the season, you've obviously done enough because everybody's looking forward to the draft, and that's when you're going to make the most noise. But I like the addition of Blaine Gabbert, and obviously Chad Henne. Not going to be here, but I like the addition of Blaine Gabbert as our backup quarterback because that's important because guys get injured in this league. And so we don't want to take the backup quarterback position lightly because it's kind of a big deal. I also like the addition of I like the signing of Deion Bush again as our number 3 safety. And also,
a returner coming back.
Yeah,
that's going to be really nice.
And also Justin Watson at the wide receiver position because, again, a lot of these Chiefs fans out here looking forward to the draft. We want to know which wide receiver are we going to get, but you've got to have a little bit of depth at that position because in today's NFL, you got to be able to throw the ball, and you got to have depth at that wide receiver position. So I like the fact that we're bringing Justin Watson back. Yeah,
and Watson was also a big part of making plays when they mattered. It seems like towards the end of the season, especially whenever things were breaking down and injuries occurred, and Juju had his moments where he missed some time and so on. I feel like that Watson being back on the team is just a quality player to have back as your WR5. Is that the expectation? I would assume maybe WR6 even.
That's fine. Yeah. That'd be great.
A guy borderline making the team.
Sure. Because here's the thing. Going into this, you obviously you have Marquez Valdes-Scantling on the roster. Juju Smith-Schuster's gone now.
Yes.
You have Sky Moore. You have Kadarius Toney. Mecole Hardman's gone now. Richie James, we're assuming is going to make the roster. But we're kind of running out of room. I mean, we have this draft coming up here on Thursday and Friday and Saturday, and you gotta assume there's going to be a receiver that comes out of that has a chance to make this roster.
I think so too. I think you're going to see a receiver within the first 3 rounds. I'm not saying first round by any means, but first 3 rounds that could knock a guy off like a Richie James, a Justin Watson as well. Like you could see one of those 2 players possibly not even make the roster for this team.
Yeah, I think at the wide receiver position, that's something that we have to hit on in this draft because you talked about Kadarius Toney. This is a guy that's a WR1 talent, but we can't necessarily depend on him throughout the course of a season. And so we're going to hit on that wide receiver position in the draft. But Kadarius Toney, I think the best case scenario for him is that he's going to be our WR2.
Yeah, I know the team really, really likes what they see out of him. The main thing, I was listening to 610 this morning with Bob Fesco and all them.
I'm sorry.
I kind of have to on the drive into work. But, they're sitting there talking about, oh, this team has no needs. This team is set. This team has no needs. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, they're talking about Kadarius Toney. They're talking about Sky Moore. So you're talking about a guy who has had no touchdowns all season long to the Super Bowl, put up 200 yards of offense, and you're talking about Kadarius Toney, who has an injury concern every year so far he's been in the NFL.
Well, and
we're just expected to assume, oh, no, there's no needs here. No needs.
I think that he's living in a fantasy land where the draft has already happened. And I don't know who he projects as the Chiefs as in terms of who they've already drafted, but the guy talks like he's the draft's already over and we're all set. And I'm just like,
well, even
that's fine.
Even edge rusher is something he's like, nope, we have no needs. It's all settled. It's all good.
Okay, let's look at the releases from this year, this offseason, right? Defensive end, Frank Clark. A left tackle, Ender Brand Jr., we replaced that, right? We got that replacement. You could say we replaced Frank Clark with Charles there. Wide receiver, Mecole Hardman. Wide receiver, Juju Smith. Two big keys of this offense throughout last year, despite Mecole even being injured.
And don't forget Carlos Dunlap, you guys. I mean,
Carlos Dunlap.
That's a big one that actually is an impact.
So,
I know he's an overage player, but
not a huge impact here. Fullback Mike Burton, but still a nice run block or quarterback blocker, to be able to protect Mahomes, and a nice run blocker there. The big one here for me is defensive tackle Colin Saunders going to the Saints, joined Passanio. Colin Saunders turned into a new level last year, and I thought he was the most impressive of the rookie class we had a couple years ago to really step up this year. And I was really hoping for to keep him around for 3 or 4 years.
All right. Well, the Saints see the upside. Obviously, the Saints know his athletic ability and the fact that he's able to penetrate extremely well there through the A gap, and that's what he did. I mean, you saw him year to year get better. Meanwhile, Derek Nottie, on the other hand, who we're keeping around, we're keeping Derek Nottie around for depth reasons, has been a guy who's regressed over the course of his years. So to me, it's like, no, there's definite holes on this roster right now.
Juan Thornhill leaving, right tackle Andrew Wiley, or the other two, right?
Yeah.
So, yes, the offseason moves, there are, needs in this draft for this Chiefs team. But I feel like, we've hit the last couple of drafts. I feel like we're going to hit this draft as well. And hopefully we can plug some of these question marks that there are.
Right. I mean, real quick before we jump more into the draft here in a second, I mean, first position off the board for you guys for the Chiefs in the first round. What are you guys thinking right now, just off the top of your head?
I'm going defensive line still. I think defensive end or a defensive tackle for this team is going to be the most important at 31.
Okay.
I would say defensive line or wide receiver. But then after that, I think that our third best need is probably going to be offensive line.
Gotcha. Okay. No, I totally get that, you guys. But the reason I even bring that up in the first place is that, we've seen signs now, and I talked about this a little bit last week, of some of the guys that we've seen the Chiefs have interest in lately. And especially lately, we've heard the rumors now out there put out by Albert Breer that the Chiefs are considering actually trading up a little bit to take guys like Zay Flowers, who Mahomes worked out with just a week ago, or to take Jahmyr Gibbs, the running back from Alabama, which can be used as a slot receiver. It's a Percy Harvin-esque type of mentality, I believe, with Jahmyr Gibbs.
No, it's interesting, too. You said trade over Zay Flowers. I still think that guy's going to be around closer to the 30 mark in this draft. I don't see that happening. I think Jahmyr Gibbs will be available in the second if we wanted to wait.
No, I agree. And a lot of it could be Jason's favorite word. It could be
there's a lot of
smoke screen. There it is. There's the smoke. It could be a smoke screen, you guys. I mean, I don't know. It could be a way for the Chiefs to be pushing teams, hopefully in front of them, to then hope the guy that they actually want falls to them at their spot. I mean, that could be the idea behind it. But to me, as much as I like Zay Flowers, I was listening to Carrington. I was well in 610 today because I just drive around so much. He was talking about, isn't he tired of these little guys being on this roster? He's tired of these guys that are just 5'10", 180 pounds, and it feels like that's all we have. And then we have one deep threat of Marquez Valdes-Scantling.
Yes,
we have him, but he's not a big body deep threat. He's just more of your straight line speed type of guy. And I feel like otherwise, this whole receiving group right now is kind of frustrating to look at on paper, because if you add another guy like Zay Flowers to the roster, I mean, we're working with Mighty Mouse out there, just a little Ant-Man of receiving groups.
It's not the same scenario and stuff, but it's like Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay of developing these young wide receivers that, you don't go out and get a first rounder ever for him. And it's development. I think Patrick Mahomes has that same ability where he can develop some of these young guys and some of these guys that's been around for a couple of years, Richie James, that we don't need to go out and spend a bunch of money or picks on these big names. Like, for instance, DeAndre Hopkins. Will I take him? Yes, I will give you the 31st pick for DeAndre Hopkins. But do we need to? I don't think so.
Old bum. Am I allowed to say that word on the show?
Yeah, you can say
Hopkins.
I don't agree with the old bum sentiment right there with DeAndre Hopkins. I think he's been put in a bad situation a couple times now in his career, but I still think he's fully capable of having some solid years. From year 32 to 33, he still's got potential to have production, especially given if he's got Patrick Mahomes throwing him the ball.
Did he stop doing drugs finally? I missed that.
Well, I hope so.
It's like if you're DeAndre Hopkins, are you? If you're not old, did you stop doing drugs? And I'm like, that's too many questions for me to ask.
Well, there's some people like Ricky Williams out there in the world who literally, once they get older, they can't stop doing drugs. They get addicted, and then from then on, they're just doing drugs forever until they quit football.
So can we just write this off right now between the three of us in terms of the running back position? We will not draft a running back in the first round unless Bijan Robinson drops down to 31.
31?
Can we all agree on that right now? Because
I agree with that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
and Brett, that's kind of a haunting in terms of like the Brett Veach, Clyde Edwards-Helaire / Patrick Mahomes pick. Whoever you think made that pick, it doesn't matter. I think that we can move off of running backs.
It would have to be rigged for Bijan to be dropped down to 31. Had to be rigged.
Right. I mean, that's just not going to happen. So
he's basically a wide receiver.
But here's the thing. I've talked to a good friend of ours, actually, Mr. Todd, and he's very interested in Jahmyr Gibbs. He thinks Jahmyr Gibbs would be fit in very well to the offense, which I agree with that. He could be a younger Drake McKinnon, who was actually extremely useful in this offense on third downs, and especially in receiving situations.
But he's not a guy that you're willing to move up for. Is that correct? You're just going to take him at 31 if he's there?
If you told me Jahmyr Gibbs is Percy Harvin, which means whenever he comes to the NFL, I can translate him immediately to becoming a slot receiver who's going to catch me 90 balls, then I would consider it.
Most importantly, he's going to be Percy Harvin without the migraine headaches. So he's actually going to show up to the games. So you would take him at 31. Is that right?
No,
you wouldn't.
I still think there's better options out there.
Okay. Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. So we don't want to see any running backs in this first round. I think that's
don't
the
want
best
to see
case scenario for the Chiefs.
Not at all.
Well, Tanner, I know we've been live now for a few minutes. Do you have any interest in maybe drawing the first name?
Not yet. Let's do one more. Let's do one more topic.
Okay, go.
Let's do one more topic.
Tell me.
Well, we're going to talk about who are the Chiefs talking to? Who are the Chiefs talking to entering the draft here come Thursday? Who have they been talking to? Who are some of the big prospects maybe we're looking at?
I've got a list of some key names, you guys, and some of these might be interesting to you. One of them is actually Deuce Vaughn of Kansas State. Here, Mr. Local guy out here. He's actually one. No, speaking of running backs, I mean, you're looking more with Deuce Vaughn prospect as possibly being a 4th or 5th rounder, and I see the Chiefs maybe having interest in a receiving back in that regard at that point. Otherwise, we got Jalen Hyatt. Yes, they have spoken with Jalen Hyatt. They've interviewed Jalen Hyatt. Ronnie Bell from Michigan. We also have Quentin Johnston, of course, worked out with Patrick Mahomes. Another one, guys, tight end Dalton Kincaid from Utah. Because you know what? On this offense, tight ends, you can never have too many, it feels like, on this roster because they're all going to make an impact at some point. Even after the re-signing of Blake Bell, this team might have 5 tight ends by the end of the day.
You can never have enough tight ends, the football kind. And that's kind of my 4th position that I'm looking at. When I look at the draft, I'm looking at wide receiver, I'm looking at D-line, I'm looking at offensive line, but that 4th position out there, it's like, how long is Travis Kelce going to be here? And so I'm not going to have an issue if Brett Veach decides to take a stab on a tight end in the first or the second or the third round. It's a deep tight end.
So Mike and I actually got to speak with former tight end of the Chiefs, Jason Dunn, on Sunday. And this question was asked: how long is Kelce going to be around? And what did Dunn say? About 3?
We all kind of had the same idea about Kelce, I think.
Till he's done,
3 years.
He's done when he's done.
He was being very generous. If he told you 3 years, he was being very generous.
Here's what happens, though. Whenever you're young, you start off as a tight end and eventually get moved out to being a wide receiver, kind of like Travis Kelce. And that's essentially what it's become over time. We need to get a younger tight end to come in there and play more in line, while Kelce can do all the things on the outside, if you know what I'm saying.
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying.
Guys, I got a few more on the list here of impact players the Chiefs have interviews with. One of them, Broderick Jones from Georgia, would fit in immediately as right tackle on this team.
See, I actually had another tackle I saw, and again, report what's in the same area that you look at, but Blake Freeland from BYU was in the mix too.
Yeah, I'm saying the Chiefs are interested right now in getting the offensive tackle spot figured out depth-wise. That's absolutely something that's on their radar because you cannot go into this season and say something catastrophic happens to Jawan Taylor. Then you're screwed. you're
You're
screwed.
stuck.
There's nothing you can do with that situation because you got a couple of right tackles of Lucas Nyang and Kennard as well, who have proven nothing so far in this league and who can only play right tackle. You don't want to have yourself in a situation where your left tackle there's no backups.
Yeah. Real quick here, we do got a quick comment. Mr. Nick Botkins of the Botkins Show. You'll be seeing him in 2 days. He says, have fun, boys. See y'all in 2 days. We'll be meeting up with him in person at the NFL draft on Thursday. Be excited to meet with him. So
yeah, I'm excited to also talk with him a little bit about the Rodgers trade.
Oh, man. He went on a tirade for about 10 minutes on Monday night with the Buffoon Botkins Show.
But I got to hear the raw emotion. From him, as we see it Thursday.
Stay 10 feet from him.
Here's the thing.
And
the Packers picked 13th overall, right? That's their first pick?
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay. Well, at this point, I mean, what's going to happen? What is their thoughts? I mean, I'm not going to dig into it right now, but for his sake,
question.
I can't wait to ask him some questions about that. And sir, thank you so much for putting that in. We have an open mic if you have questions or want to have comments.
So another two players that I thought were interesting that I heard the Chiefs may have talked to as well is the edge. I'm going to give my best effort into this name here. Adatomiwa Adebora, and that's the Northwestern edge.
The D tackle.
The edge off of Northwestern.
Yeah.
So that's that guy. And then safety Jair Brown from Penn State, who I like a lot, who you can get probably in that third, fourth round there.
Yeah, there's definitely some. Here's what I think the Chiefs want right now. They want flexibility from this position. I feel like the Chiefs are not fans of undersized defensive ends for the most part. This guy has transitioned from D tackle to be able to play anywhere on the line, basically, a la Aaron Donald in some ways, as far as being able to play D tackle or on the edge outside. I think the Chiefs find that interesting, and as well as the fact that he blew up the combine with some awesome numbers. At the same time, I want to see production.
Were you at all surprised, like when you're going through tape, you're looking through some of these edges and D tackles, there's a lot of combo guys out there, more than just, what you see in the first round. There's tons of combo guys spread that could be projected 1 through 6 rounds that I thought were really interesting, that they could play both spots effectively.
Right, and that's kind of today's modern NFL, though, is you're kind of expected to be able to play multiple positions, and if you can't, you're going to have a niche, and you're going to not be playing as many snaps as the other guy next to you.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the way things have gone now in today's league, is that you have your guys of the world, like a Bruce Irvin, who's literally just a speed rusher, and then you have your guys of the world who are just a run stopper. And I think that over the time, as time goes, is that you might have your niche. You got to be really, really good at it, though, when you are doing that. But teams want guys that are flexible to be able to do a lot of different things and variate, from play to play and down to down. So otherwise, we got some more names, Jason, for us to go over here. Julius Brents, another K-Stater. Long, lanky kind of corner.
See, that's kind of an interesting one there, too, with Julius Brents in the corner from a local guy. I think that's where you see a little bit of smoke screen coming to play. The defensive end guy the same way. I don't see us going that K-State route. I just don't think they'll be there when it's start time to pick.
I do have a trivia question about this later, by the way, Tanner. Why wouldn't you not go the K-State route? This team just had one of the most successful seasons they've had in a long time. There's a lot of good players that came off that roster. I could easily see the Chiefs taking a K-State player this year.
Yeah, that's very true. I could see that as well. I mean, it wouldn't hurt anything. I think that'd be great depth for us. Well, I just don't see them being available when the Chiefs come into play.
One of the guys that's going to be available at pick 31 is Felix Anudike.
Give your best effort.
Well, considering I've gone to many K-State games, I've practiced that name, and it's still hard for me.
Oh, well done, man. Well
Felix
done.
Anudike Uzama. Anyways, he's a really good player as well. I've seen him make an impact for sure in K-State games. And I could see him being the guy at 31. That's absolutely somebody I think that would be on the radar of the Chiefs. Otherwise, we got Lonnie Phelps from Kansas. Was another guy that was also spoken with by the Chiefs. Nolan Smith from Georgia. Another one. One of those undersized guys we talked about, the speed rusher, ran a 4.38, I believe, at the combine. And Dante Stills. That's an interesting one, Tanner.
Dante Stills is an interesting one.
And I feel like maybe it has something to do with the family, and it felt like it was proper to have an interview with
just to do
with
it.
Gary Stills' son.
Yeah.
Coming out of West Virginia. But I could see Dante Stills being a late round draft pick, somewhere in round between 5 and 7.
I was thinking like 6.
Yeah, he's going to go somewhere in that range. And here's the thing: if he goes undrafted, I would 100% expect him to have a tryout with the Chiefs.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about the prospects that the Chiefs have spoken to, I want to go back to Jalen Hyatt just for a minute here, because you guys both know that I was out on him when he first came into the mix in the draft discussion.
You were.
This guy is a guy that watched game film during a pre-draft meeting with Coach Andy Reid. And I'm starting to warm up to him a little bit because he's a guy that can stretch the field. He can blow past defenders, and he can reach the end zone. And we've got MVS basically as the guy that can blow past defenders. That he's not a dynamic receiver. And so Jalen Hyatt is a guy that I think is somebody who we could be looking at in terms of like a dynamic receiver that we really want to blow off the top on these defenses.
The thing with Hyatt is he immediately replaces Mecole Hardman on the offense. And that's the way those things would go. And I love Hyatt. You guys know how I feel about his ability on this offense, what he could be doing. But at the same time, I've kind of found myself wanting that big-bodied receiver. And that's just kind of my preference at the moment. And I know Quentin Johnston's probably the top prospect for that, but there's also a guy by the last name of Mingo from Ole Miss coming in the second round, I believe, that I think would be the perfect fit. Jonathan Mingo, I think, would be a perfect fit for this team and be that big-bodied guy that's going to be reliable in the red zone, which is something I kind of want, especially younger, to replace Kelsey eventually.
Well, that's the thing, too. Like, Jalen Hyatt's not on my radar for the Chiefs team. Again, I want a bigger body. I want somebody that, we can go to in the red zone, but also have a bigger body for downfield production. I don't think Jalen Hyatt, he'll fit well, but he's going to kick out maybe a key roster spot from somebody that could be possibly a little bit more effective.
And I agree with you guys on the big body receiver. And I think that's something that Brett Veach is going to be thinking about, because I think that Mecole Hardman pick over DK Metcalf is probably something that has haunted him ever since the day that happened. And so I totally agree with you. He might be going opposite here and thinking, let's get that big-bodied receiver in here.
Right. I can't even imagine what Patrick Mahomes and DK Metcalf could look like together. Tanner, is Tanner filling out his own card right now? I feel like Tanner is putting in his own name for the raffle right now here live at Limitless Brewing Company.
I think he's filling out other people's names.
It's only the one comment still, right?
The one comment, Nick Bodkins.
Okay.
Nick Bodkins.
Oh, Nick Bodkins is into the drawing.
So he'll enter the drawing for the final round there.
Yeah, so those of you out there watching, listening right now, if you go ahead and leave a comment, that means we're going to put your name also into the mix, because we're going to give away a free jersey here live at the brewery, as well as those of you out there listening. So that means 2 free jerseys for you guys out there.
All right, guys, I need one person to help me pick out the first drawing of the raffle. Who's going to do it? Let's go. Let's go, Luke. Come on, Luke. Come over here. Right, pulled by Luke over here. Trey Viddock.
Oh, look at that.
Hey! You get your choice here between 2 flags and a glass set. Woo! Right here, the 2 flags. Either 1 flag, or you can get a Chiefs glass set. Which one do you want? Or sorry, not Chiefs, the football glass set. Flag is gone. 1 flag is gone, everybody. Woo! Thank you, Trey.
Now, Tanner, are we keeping names in?
You know what I'm doing? Yeah, that's right. We're keeping that name back in, because there's a bigger prize at the end.
I was going to say, you want to win the jersey, right? That's the whole point, right?
Jeff, maybe you should participate. Love it. That's our first prize. We got 3 prizes still left to go. You still got time to put your name here in this Chiefs helmet. You can participate, get yourself an extra ticket coming up here a little later on. So.
All right, guys, I want to bring up a little more of a disheartening topic for just a moment. I know not to bring the mood down by any means, but being a Chiefs fan has not always been easy. And
No.
I know we're sitting here bathing in the glory and having a great time and enjoying all these awesome times with Patrick Mahomes at quarterback and winning Super Bowls and so on. But there was a lot of turmoil and awful times along the way. Who could forget the blackout game, guys, where basically everyone, they went to the game and wore blackout and there was a banner flown above the stadium and so on. Well, a lot of that had to do with poor management, but also horrible drafting at the same time. So it's a little bit of both. So my question out there for you guys and anyone out there who wants to chime in is, who is your quote unquote favorite draft bust of Chiefs history? Who is the guy that has stood out to you the most as the most impactful in your mind, I would say?
I'm going to tell you right now, the most impactful draft bust in Chiefs history. A lot of people can probably identify with this. It's Todd Blackledge, because when I was growing up, they used to give out Chiefs football cards. The police officers would give these cards out when I was in 5th grade. And the 1983 draft is when Todd Blackledge got drafted at number 7. And when you're like, however old I was probably like 6 years old. I think the JG was 6 years old in 1983. I think I can verify that. But when you have Todd Blackledge that gets drafted number 7 overall, Patrick Mahomes did not get drafted that high, guys. You go back to 1983 and the JG is 6 years old. And I don't even know who Todd Blackledge is. Fast forward throughout history, we look back at that 1983 draft. We see John Elway drafted at number 1, Jim Kelly drafted at number 14, Ken O'Brien number 24, and Dan Marino. Dan Marino, one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game, was at number 27. And I look back on that draft of the Chiefs draft of Todd Blackledge at number 7. And it blows my mind. And I understand that, all of these general managers in the NFL, and even as human beings, we all make mistakes in life. But to me, that was the biggest draft bust of my lifetime. Well, of my lifetime. And you can talk about Ryan Leaf all day long. You can talk about Jamarcus Russell, whoever you want to throw out there. But of my lifetime as a Chiefs fan, Todd Blackledge was the biggest draft bust in the history of my life, for sure.
Yeah, Tanner, what do you think about that? Who would be your most impactful draft bust you've ever experienced as a fan?
It had to be somebody that I was around, knowledgeable about.
Sure, right. Yeah.
So I'm looking at guys like Ryan Sims, 6 overall, that draft there. I think Ryan Sims would be one. I even throw, granted, he did a little better elsewhere, and he didn't do too bad for us, but Glenn Dorsey was a big one for me.
Yeah.
I the defensive side of things was my big one. Anybody here have a big draft bust they want to that the Kansas City Chiefs have done? Jeff? Oh yeah, you already showed Conrad. You guys get another ticket in if you have a draft bust in the meantime.
Let me give you a hint. You could also just walk up here and say Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and you might have a chance at winning.
Yeah, Clyde's a bust for sure to a degree. I can't totally hold everything against him by any means. We've still won Super Bowls with him on the roster, so or a Super Bowl, I should say, with him on the roster.
Hey, we got one. We got one here. We got one here. Mr. Jeff has a receiver that we drafted.
Oh yeah.
I might know who that. I might know who that's going to be.
Well, Marvin Minnis.
Oh, he was
terrible.
Snoop.
The
I thought you were going to say
Sylvester was his name.
Right.
Snoop.
Well, hold on. I believe was it like a year apart between Sylvester Morris and then Snoop
Sly
Minnis.
Morris and Snoop Minnis. It was a disaster.
Yeah, and both of them were total failures.
Oh, they had cool names and couldn't catch a ball.
Right.
Yeah, it was a great time.
And here's the thing: at the time, we were thinking, okay, if we just give this quarterback some weapons, Elvis Grbac, maybe he could do something.
He said Elvis Grbac and weapons.
Unfortunately,
That's awesome.
It was real.
You can't make this up, right?
Thanks, Jeff. You get a ticket, dude. Put a ticket in. Yeah. Yeah, you participate, you get a ticket.
Yeah.
So Sylvester Morris was a 21st overall, by the way.
Yeah.
You mentioned him. I didn't put St. Minutes on my list, but Sylvester Morris.
Snoop, I believe, went in the second round.
Yeah.
Sylvester went in the first, but both of them, I think, had one play total in their career to amount to anything.
Yeah. So another one over here at the end here said Percy Snow,
Sure.
13th overall, 1990 draft.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is, Percy Snow being in 1990, he was kind of sandwiched in the beginning of the era of Marty Schottenheimer and it's the things they were creating on the defensive side of the ball. And I guess it was kind of underwhelming to see him become a failure so fast because you had, you're walking and you had Derek Thomas, Neil Smith on the same team. It's like, man, if we just get Percy Snow to be worth something, then we're going to be balling, which the defense ended up being okay anyway. But, yeah, Percy Snow was a big one for sure.
How about a name I haven't heard in forever, Junior Saga?
Junior Ciavitti.
Ciavitti.
Junior Ciavitti is a
36 overall.
In more ways than one, Tanner. He found himself in a lot of trouble, and I believe recently he's deceased.
Yes.
That's something I've heard of. A lot of issues that has gone with his
Jason,
life.
can you think of another quarterback that was a draft bust?
I'm not going to go to the quarterback.
It was the same year as Joey Harrington.
I'm not going to go to the quarterback position right now, but I will give you a couple of busts on the Chiefs, and it happened in the same year, I believe. When I go back to 2005, and I believe that it was Alex Smith and Aaron Rodgers got drafted the same year in 2005.
Yep.
I was collecting football cards. Big surprise. The JG likes to collect football cards. It's not like I didn't quit or anything like that. I'm still collecting to this day, but a couple of Chiefs draft busts from that year, a couple of wide receivers. And the name of those guys were Alfonso Hodge and Crefonso Thorpe. Yeah. And I can't tell you why I remember those names.
That's amazing.
I can just tell you that I was really into collecting rookie cards from the Chiefs back in 2005. And those guys were busts because to this day, I still have both of their rookie cards. And to this day, they are still worth probably slightly less than 5 cents.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
For me right now, thinking about the whole situation of draft bust and so on. I really hated the Tyson Jackson pick in 2009. Just because I thought it was weak. I just thought the Tyson Jackson pick was weak, and they could have gone better. But in all honesty, because I thought Aaron Curry would be better than he was. Aaron Curry ended up being also a bust of his own. That 2009 draft class was just not good. The best player they could have taken after that probably been Andre Smith, the tackle. Otherwise, B.J. Raji at number 9 overall would have been the next probably best selection. So, anyways, it's just a bad draft class in 09.
Let's talk about the Johnny Manziel draft because I was buying football cards back then as well. And the Chiefs drafted a guy by the name of DeAnthony Thomas. Ooh. And I remember back then, Mike was very interested in purchasing a rookie card for me.
I never did.
DeAnthony Thomas.
I never
did. But that guy was a bust for the Chiefs back then. And that was the same draft that produced Devontae Adams.
Well, I figured he'd be a more improved version of Dexter McCluster. That's kind of what my idea was behind it. And it turns out both players sucked.
They both sucked.
So at the end of the day,
they both sucked.
It didn't work out for either one of those guys. And another reason why I'm not a big fan of undersized wide receivers. So.
But at least they did not draft Johnny Manziel. That would have been bigger. That's a bigger problem if you draft Johnny Manziel.
If we wanted a circus in Kansas City, that would have been a great choice.
That would have been a great choice. How about a guy quarterback-wise, right? The guy I was trying to get you to say.
Bill Kenny.
Brody Croyle. Brody Croyle, 85th overall, but it wasn't even supposed to be like the next big thing for the Chiefs. And
well, that was the idea. He was picked in the 3rd round, so I mean
that's not a bust because I don't even remember that.
Played for Alabama.
You pick him in the top 3
pretty well now. Here's the thing: he was always kind of frail, and that was an idea.
He was
injury prone. Well, guess what? Woo, he's injury prone. So surprise, surprise. And that was Brody
the same
Croyle's
year. So that's the same year we had. I think it was Trent Green and Joey Harrington. Trent Green was still playing, and we had Joey Harrington in that draft. And I really wanted Joey Harrington. Granted, I accepted. I was wrong.
Yeah.
Harvey Williams is what we got.
The running back,
Ooh.
Harvey Williams. That's an interesting
That's
one.
an
But he was
But-
productive though. Like he was actually productive for a certain amount of time.
Do you consider that a bust?
Well, I mean, he didn't. To me, he didn't do anything. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on this, but to me, he didn't do enough.
All right.
I was actually
800 yards in 3
158
years.
yards in 3 years. That's a lot of production in 3 years.
wow. I'm just I'm just pissed off right now because
like that.
I still have his rookie card and I thought it might be worth something someday, and it apparently is not.
All right, guys. Anyways, I wanted to have a little fun topic there for a second, but Tanner, I wanna draw one more name and then let's do some trivia for a minute, man.
You want to do some? Oh, we're doing some trivia?
Let's draw one more name and hit some trivia for a second.
Yeah, I'm in the wrong position here. Here we go. All right, guys, we're drafting for one more prize on the table here. We have one flag left in a glass set. Who wants to draw it? I know who draws it. Hold on. Give me a minute.
Tanner's a dog over there if you want to have the dog draw one. Yes.
The dog looks like he's interested in that prize over there.
I'm glad we got the kid at least drawing some cards for us all. All right, what do we got here? He's coming back. Tanner's coming back.
All right, guys. So the next prize on the table here, we got. I'm sorry if I butchered this. Jeff. That's not Bianco. That's not Bianco. Is that really how you? B-I. It looks like B-I-R.
Yeah, that's me.
Oh.
Is that Bijan
No.
Robinson?
Oh,
You get. I'll put you back in though, but you get a flag or the glass set. Jeff Bianco, everybody.
he's going flag for now.
The fly just took a dump in my whiskey.
Well, we're sitting outside, so
All right, let me come back up there, guys, and we'll get some trivia underway. Hey,
All right.
everybody. I will have the guest mic here. If you think you know the answer to trivia, it's right here. It's gonna be live. Come answer. It's gonna be fun.
By the way,
And you get a ticket. If you get a ticket, you get another ticket into the drawing. So,
which, by the way, Tanner, bring tickets over. We got two full on the list. We got
two fulls in there.
Rada who is Rada Takes, Tanner? We got Dirty Mike and the boys, is what they said.
I just want to let you know that a gnat just took a dump in my whiskey over here.
Well, Jason, we're sitting outside, so it's the weather, man.
It happens.
Gnats enjoy this kind of stuff. They enjoy coming to Limitless Brewing, where they can hang out and have a great time and get drunk themselves.
How often do you cut your toenails, Mike?
All right, Mike.
I just want to throw something out there.
Are we talking
Mike.
about bath towels again? Are we toenails now?
No, this is the next level.
this is so bad.
I'm taking it to another level.
Mike.
I cut them enough.
You're a lefty, right?
I'm more of an interested in where you put
I
your toenails when you
understand.
cut them.
I
Do you go
understand
to the
if you don't
toilet?
want
Do you
to.
go to the trash can?
You're a lefty, right?
You can choose to not answer
So,
the question.
in the mouse there, go click on the sport. That's the sports buffoons. The little slide deal that's grayed out towards the left.
Wait. Rada Takes is Chris that used to work at Hy-Vee. Oh, yeah. You remember Chris? Yeah. You remember Chris,
Used
right?
to work. Oh yeah.
I
Rada
was-
Takes is also
Well,
on
I
it.
was-
Say his last name,
He was
damn it.
Mr. Long Island for me every once in a while. So
Come on,
it's
man.
good to see you on here, my man. Thank you for joining. And Chris will put your name in the list. So basically, anyone out there who's leaving a comment, we're going to put your name on the list to possibly win a jersey of your choice, team and player. So if you got some Cardinals stuff out there, I know you're a fan of, then let us know if we draw your name.
And you can also get players from the past. Like I understand that Tim Tebow no longer plays in the NFL, but if you want a Tim Tebow jersey,
Right.
we can throw that out there as well. It's a player of your choice.
All right, we're doing trivia next, you guys. What do we need to go to, Tanner? Right here? Add a stream? Yeah. This mouse has been used a lot, Tanner. What have you been doing with this thing? Okay, I'm just going to keep it right there. Twofold wants a playoff winner Tim Tebow jersey, maybe.
I bet he does, man.
Oh, this is the hard one, Tanner. We might need to skip some of these.
All right, Mike. I'm leaving it up to you guys. All right. So for the first, we're gonna do name this offense. We're gonna trust your trivia here. Name this offense. We have an LSU receiver, Alabama tight end, a Clemson receiver, a Pittsburgh receiver, and an OU running back.
I don't even have the answer
Any
for this.
guesses?
I don't have the answer for this.
I'm going to go with buck sweep left
Name
or
this
buck
offense.
sweep right. Buck sweep left or buck sweep right.
Well, we're trying to figure out based off the college they went to.
Name this team's offense.
Yes. And it's
So,
an
like, is it
NFL
the
team.
Jets? Is it the Giants? Is it the Chiefs? Is it the Jaguars?
We need to go to the Jaguars might be right.
Hey, no,
So
Jeff's coming up.
Jeff,
Jeff's coming up.
You look at the college.
He's gotta
Brandon,
get
think
his
about what
glasses on.
NFL
Okay,
team
we
this
got
is.
an
This is
expert.
actually pretty hard. This is a hard game.
We have an expert coming up here.
So we got LSU receiver, Alabama tight end, a Clemson receiver, a Pittsburgh receiver, and an OU running back. Which team is this? You know what? I'll even throw your comments in if you guys know what it is on there.
Yeah, this game right here is not easy. We got Chiefs trivia though.
It's how recent is this, Mike?
As of this year, as of the current time. Yeah, current time.
I'm trying to think if I even know this one. Wait.
I'm sure Twofold probably knows the answer, doesn't he? Where you at, Twofold? You want some free?
So
you want some free
Rada
stuff?
takes is going with the Bengals.
Yeah, Rada takes the Bengals.
Oh, you know what?
Is this correct?
We got a winner.
Ooh.
It is the
We got the
Bengals.
Bengals. We got Tyler
Well,
Boyd
Mine, I think
there in the
it's
slot.
Well
So,
done.
we
Well
are, yep.
done, my
From
friend.
Pittsburgh, we got Tyler Boyd there in the slot. We from LSU over there.
Wow.
And T. Higgins over there in Clemson. So perfect. Yep.
Unbelievable.
And then Facebook user. I don't know how to put Facebook user into the mix for a ticket raffle, Tanner, but it says Facebook user. So if you have a name, Facebook user, we'll put you on the raffle for a jersey giveaway. Well, if that's the case, let us know.
That's sick. He is a football savant. He came up with that.
Twofold says he's talking about the Huskers being as embarrassing as the Raiders lately. So I get it, man. I get that. It's hard also to be a Mizzou fan. Speaking of that, I got a question about that in our Chiefs trivia, Tanner. So
All right, Mike, go to the next question
next
here.
question.
All right, Kansas City Chiefs trivia, everybody. What team did the Chiefs trade with to move on from 27 to pick number 10 to draft Patrick Mahomes in 2017?
Any takers?
Who's coming up for this?
Any takers?
Who? What team did the Chiefs draft to get Patrick Mahomes? Who did they trade?
What team did they trade with
Who did they trade with?
to move up from
No.
27 to 10?
No.
I will give you a hint. I'm going to give
we
you a
got it.
hint.
We got it over here.
You have one?
We got the Bills.
Okay. I will.
Okay.
I'm going to save that
You got
hint
the
for a
answer.
little bit later.
Bills. That is right.
Bills is the correct answer.
Yep. That is right. They're on the back end. Very nice. Bills. Yeah, we took too far. I saw you. You're on that. We got one more to name the offense. I think we can only do one more of these, Terry. These ones are tough. Let's do the Chiefs next. So this one has 2 offensive linemen, 2 LSU receivers on the outside.
This one's hard.
So we only got 4 colleges. Jeff, do you have an idea on this one?
So we already did the Bengals. We already got the Bengals.
Or you got the Bengals out of the way. What team has currently 2 LSU receivers starting on the outside at the X and the Z position?
I got you too.
And then the Alabama center.
Now, Twofold, if you're Googling that right now, that doesn't count, man. You know,
No.
like that doesn't count, man. We're going
These
to
were-
penalize. Do you need to
these
be
are not-
penalized, Twofold, for Googling that stuff?
These are not easy by any means. Tanner, do you have an opinion on this one?
All right. You guys ready? All right. Truthful out here says Raiders. Is this correct?
Hmm.
I also got the Ravens in the comment as well.
Here we're going. I don't think it's the Saints.
He said he's
Um,
taking Truthful says
not
I'm taking a shot in the dark here. Thinking Rodney Hudson.
Not the Saints because the Saints have 2 Ohio State receivers.
No,
on the outside.
Ravens.
Well, I was saying,
Saints.
Rada Hicks
Yeah.
had the Saints on that one. Ravens.
Is it Raiders or Ravens?
You know,
Because I was actually more thinking almost Minnesota.
well,
You're the one who did the trivia stuff. Well, who is it?
Oh, you're kidding me.
Well,
You don't
I
even
I was expecting
Oh
us
my
to
God.
just be all prepared for
know
this.
the answer.
This is a tough one.
Unbelievable.
I don't know. This is a tough one. So yeah, Rodney Hudson was not Alabama. He was Florida State. So we had a question there.
Oh, you do know the answer. Okay.
Well, no, I just was answering the Rodney Hudson
Oh,
question.
previous question. Gotcha. So who we
this
got?
is hard. I don't know, man. Do we have an answer?
You think I researched this that you sent over?
Can
All
we,
right,
can we get to a
I
point?
definitely thought so.
Hit the next
We'll
one.
come back to that. Let's
Hit
get
the
some
next
Chiefs
one.
trivia.
Can we get to a point where we just have our mind in the
I
right
just want
place?
I want our
you
Chiefs
know?
fans to interact today a little bit. So that's all. All right, Tanner, what do you got next on the
All right, guys, Kansas City Chiefs trivia. What round was Hall of Famer Will Shields drafted in? We got three.
Correct. Third round out
That's
of
another
Nebraska.
ticket.
There you guys. The 1993 NFL draft.
Got 7-1 odds. You
There we
only
go.
got 7 rounds to choose from.
There
So
you go.
that's pretty
Facebook
easy.
user said Colts.
Throw a number out there, man.
For that.
Pick a number between 1 and 7. What do you think it is?
Tanner, if this next slide is going to be more.
It's going to be this.
No, we're not. We're not
Just
doing
skip
it. No, we're not doing it.
Okay, Kansas City Chiefs trivia. Out of their 10 draft picks in 2022, how many were used on defense?
Stop yelling, Tanner. You're intimidating.
many?
You're intimidating me right now.
Give me a number.
Very
Give me a number.
intimidating.
We got 12.
12? No, well, we had 10 picks at the end.
I know we
At the end of the
I
draft.
just
we had
told her to
10.
give me a number.
Oh.
Well, we got 9. We got 9.
Not quite 9. That's a
Okay.
lot. Not quite 9.
We got 6 from Tufel.
Tufel goes with 6. Tufel's
Okay.
going to start Googling.
1 from Rana.
Twofold, you need to stop cheating, man. That's not fair.
No, that's what he's doing. He's answering quick to avoid Google XQ.
Well, that's accusations from Mr. JG over here.
That's
so,
just JG Tufel.
yeah.
We got you.
Well, is that our final guess? Tanner, what's your guess? Any more guesses?
7? 7?
We said 7. That's it. That's the answer. From defensive
We're
players.
back at it, everybody. You said 4. It's 7. All right, so you're gonna skip once
All right.
again.
Tanner filling it up with all these hard
Well,
ones.
you
like
gave
this.
me all the trivia stuff. So
But actually, this one I think is the Eagles. But
that is
well,
the Eagles.
we'll go ahead. Well, look at that. I got that one fast. It's just that one I can't figure out myself.
Yeah, you don't know.
I don't know. Okay.
All right, Kansas City last or no,
Yep, we got
almost
one more
there.
after this, Chiefs.
Kansas City Chiefs trivia. How many Hall of Famers did the Chiefs pass on the first round of the 1983 draft to select QB bust Todd Blackledge?
And not just quarterbacks, but all Hall of Famers in the first round.
I will give you a
They passed
hint. I will give you a hint that JG has already gone over these names in the first part of the show. So if you were listening earlier to the JG, you already have the answers.
It was more than 2. I'll put it
More than 2?
More than 2.
Who's
These
else?
guys were
We got
just first-
3? You
just
got
in the
3?
first. More than 3.
All right, let's see. Let's check comments here. All right, so 2, 3. Nothing there. Horseface Elway was 1. Yes, people, that is correct on that one.
Ooh,
Well,
horse face. I
I'm
like
talking about
that.
Tanner. Well, hold on. To clarify the question, it's the players the Chiefs passed on.
Passed
So
on.
keep in
Okay,
mind,
okay.
Todd Blackledge went 7th overall.
And it's also Hall of Fame
All right,
players,
anybody else
Hall
got
of
a
Fame players,
final
just as
answer on this one?
not just quarterbacks.
Oh, we got a 1 here. We got a 1.
We have a 1. Guys, I think you guys are underselling this. The Chiefs really screwed up when they took Todd Blackledge.
All right, what's the answer, Mike?
The answer is 4 Hall of Famers
4.
were passed on just in the first round alone. Whenever they took in.
Oh, Facebook.
Obviously, Dan Marino was one
No,
of
that was the last question. We had 2 in Horseface Elway.
them.
Okay.
Also, Tanner, one of those, as a fun fact, is Darryl Green, the great cornerback that went to the
Really?
He spent a lot of years with the Redskins.
yeah.
And he was the only non-quarterback that did not make the Hall of Fame, right? Because
believe,
Jim Kelly made it. To the
Jim
Hall of
Kelly
Fame.
made it. I think Bruce Matthews might have been one as well. But I know there was 4 for a fact. So.
All right. What's our next one, Mike?
We got one last Chiefs question for you guys.
All right.
This was
kids,
fun.
Last question here. Historically, have the Chiefs drafted more players from MU, KU, or K-State? We got KU.
Got a KU answer?
We got
Any
a
other,
K-State answer.
any other takers?
Yeah, we got an MU person.
Is
And we
there-
got a Huskers.
Tim says Huskers, which is not one of the answers.
So
But, you know,
far,
it also could be true.
All right, so what are we
we
going
got
on?
KU and MU so
Okay.
far.
Go Sharks. All right, we got Wichita State out
Okay.
here.
The Chiefs have drafted 8 Missouri Tigers in their history.
So we got K-State about twice now.
Okay, so we've had a couple K-States,
So-
one KU, one MU. Is that what we're hearing?
What's our answer?
Okay, we've had 8 Missouri Tigers in the history of Chiefs to be drafted. We've had 9 KU Jayhawks to be drafted, and we've had only 5 K-Staters.
Rock
to be
Chalk!
drafted.
Rock Chalk! Rock Chalk! That's what I'm talking about.
Wow.
Hey, that was fun, actually.
The
Okay.
Haycockers.
Surprisingly, KU won that one, but it's mainly because they were much better.
All right.
Much better a
So-
long time ago.
So, Mike, due to constraints of time, we're probably going to skip over this mock here coming into play.
Okay.
So, well, actually, you know what? We can do the first 3 rounds. We'll do first 3 rounds.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, let's do one more of the giveaway, and then we'll do the one at the very end. So, let's switch back over here. So let's add.
All right, guys, we are doing. You say remove down below.
We just had the
Yeah,
sound go
I
out.
got you. Hit remove down below. You'll be fine.
That kind of surprises me that we had more Haycockers than
All right, here we go.
the other teams.
That's good.
This is
Okay.
for the glassware on the table here. Raffle. Mike, click remove.
Yeah, that thing.
Make sure
All right.
two folds not in that basket over there.
Tanner's running around right now. So, kind of their name.
All right, guys. The winner is Robin Thomas.
Oh, another one that's here. Okay, sweet.
All right, you get the glass set there. So we got one little bit left here, and then we will get the final prize on the road.
All right. I guess to wrap it up, you guys, we're going to do a quick mock draft. We'll just do the first 3 rounds. How's that sound for you guys? I mean, we wanted to do the full 7, but time's running a little short, and that's a lot of picks. The Chiefs, once again, have, I think, 10 picks on the table this year. So maybe we can turn 4 of those into all-stars in the 7th round, kind of like we did with Jalen Watson and Isaiah Pacheco this past season. So
The draft starts in 2 days. So that's what we care about right now, the first round.
Oh, by the way, Dave wanted to point out that it took a Tiger help win the Super Bowl, by the way, Tanner, despite KU having more Chiefs drafted all time.
That's pretty sad.
Or I said that the other way around. Despite having more Chief players drafted by the Chiefs all time.
All right, we are underway, everybody. Let's see who it won, by the way. I'm just curious.
Okay. So if you guys are seeing there along with
Bryce
us,
Young won.
we have a mock draft simulator up here from Pro Football Network. We have the Chiefs currently have an offer already. We're doing a quick thing. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, we're rejecting all offers.
Yeah, reject all offers, guys. Let's just
Here
hold
it
on.
is again.
Hold on. If the Browns would offer the Chiefs pick 74
Take
and
this
Chubb
all
for
day.
31,
I'll
like, could you imagine Pacheco and Chubb together? That'd be pretty damn awesome.
That'd be pretty awesome, dude.
Oh, the Raiders want to give away the farm. Look at that. Okay.
All right,
Let's-
so we got our 5 on the board, our first 5
Wait,
on
did
the
we skip
board.
our pick? No, we're still there, right?
We're still there.
Pretty sure we're
It's
there.
down below.
Okay.
Right
Okay, there we go. Dave Flowers just went ahead of the Chiefs pick there,
That is it.
along with Michael Meyer, Dalton Kincaid. So left up on the board, so remaining, we got DeJuan Jones. Jahmyr Gibbs is still there. Josh Downs, BJ Ojolari. What are the names on the list right now that you're thinking of for the Chiefs that pick 31 overall that you'd be happy with?
For me here, we're kind of looking at this list here. It's either going to be Josh Downs or Cansey from Pittsburgh.
Cansey. You know, I wouldn't mind Cansey just because that guy is a damn athlete. Again,
He is.
one of those guys that's a freak athlete.
He's
that
like,
would be,
he reminds me of Saunders in a way.
he would be
you know?
exactly very, very similar style and build. He would fit in very, very well. Can you scroll down just a little bit, Tanner? I want to see who else is on that list for us. Otherwise, we got Darnell Washington. There's your guy, Hendon Hooker, Tanner.
Oh, yeah.
We got to get Hendon Hooker.
Who
on the
said
Chiefs.
that? Who said that? Chris Collinsworth?
Chris Collinsworth.
Chris Collinsworth predicted
Final mock draft had the
Hooker
Chiefs taking
at
Hendon
31.
Hooker, quarterback from Tennessee, as
At
their first
31.
round pick.
So he's gonna sit behind Patrick Mahomes for a couple of years and then
And then
take
what?
over. And then
He'll sit
Well,
behind
we'll
him for
trade
2
him to
years.
another
we got Jalen
No.
Hyatt in there at
Trade him to
44.
another.
The Northwestern Edge there at 45 as well. So
You know what, Tanner? I think, in my opinion, if I saw this on the board right now, I'm going to lean towards BJ Ojolari. as my pick.
I don't hate that at all.
I want that edge. I want that to be solidified. I'll get a
What's your
receiver next round.
I like Hendon
Edge?
Hooker, man.
Oh, you want
Hendon
quarterback?
Hooker, dude.
He wants Hendon Hooker on
Yeah.
the team.
All right, we're going
I
BJ
like Hendon
Ojolari
Hooker.
No,
BJ
why
Ojolari.
wouldn't you do it, man?
at pick 31. All right, we're almost out here for our next pick here at 63. So far, Hendon is still on the
Hendon
board.
Hooker's still there.
Drew
now.
Sanders is on the board at pick 63, which I'm really surprised at.
Yeah, but you also got Derek Hall, another guy that the Chiefs have spoken with in the offseason from Auburn. That's another interesting one. I mean, I know we just went edge, but I mean, would it be nuts to go back-to-back edge on that
I
situation?
don't think it'd be awful, but you got Rasheed Rice there at SMU
Sure.
there at 62.
Yeah, I'd probably lean towards Rasheed Rice there at that situation.
I think I'll go more Rasheed Rice.
What else we have? We have Tucker Kraft, who I really like as well.
Yes.
I think he's gonna be a
Jordan
really good
Battle's
player.
out there. Brandon Joseph. Another guy I like is Trey Palmer from Nebraska. I'm sure Tim's going to be happy about that. Blake Freeland is out there, 81, who they've talked to. And the other guy I'm really like
Andre Carter.
Andre Carter's a very underwhelming player.
interesting to
I
watch.
think he'd be
Old as that goes on
yeah.
in the NFL.
I'd almost say at this point here, I would probably go Rasheed Rice.
Yeah, get your receiver at this point, in my opinion. That works out pretty well. You went edge, receiver. I
Are
can
you
live
good
with
with
that all day.
Yeah, totally good with
All right, so Rasheed Rice in the second round here. And now our pick at 95.
Now, hold on. That was an offer?
Oh, that's so dumb, dude. That's not even
No,
nice.
okay. You see my guys sitting there on the board, guys. You know I'm a big fan of Zach Harris.
You are a big fan of Zach
I'm a
Harrison.
big fan. What else we got
Ivan Pace Jr. is out there. Keisham Butte is out there. You also got Cameron Latu, tight end of Alabama, out there as well, who I like, who I think could be a little bit of a playmaker.
it. Go with a tight end, man.
We have Kelly Blue Book on there,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Caillou Blue Kelly.
Caillou Blue Kelly. I'd almost go at this point for me. I'd either do this was the field I had. I'd go almost Zach Harrison or Ivan Pace Jr. at this point.
Well, I'd say for me, double up on the edge, but you can pick who you'd like, Tanner. You're controlling the thing.
Well, would you go?
The damn tight
Edge
end,
or
man.
linebacker? You want to go tight end
He wants the tight end.
in the third
Damn
round?
tight end, yeah.
So here's the thing. There's so many good
Deep.
tight ends.
It's a
Well, it is a
deep
deep
tight
class.
end draft.
Oh, they got your favorite on there, Zach Kuntz. He's available right now at the
So
moment.
are we going with Cameron Latu or Zach Kuntz?
I'm not going to go with Kunz. That's not going
Okay.
to happen.
Cameron Latu, pick 95.
All right.
All right, and I think that.
And how would you
wraps up
feel?
right there.
How would you feel after those 3 rounds? Yeah, edge, and then you got your receiver, just a tight end who's going to fit in somehow. I
I'm in
guess.
different because you got Noah Gray, you got Jody Forts in there at 95.
Yeah.
I'm in a little different with the 63 just because there was, I think, a little better options at Rasheed Rice.
Mhm.
Within you probably could have waited another 2 rounds or so.
Yeah,
but
it's not
I'm
my favorite.
I'm not awful about it, but I feel pretty good about it. So
Yeah, not my favorite mock draft we've ever done, but it's all right. Here's the thing: when you're the Chiefs, you have options, so
yeah,
you can
we
make
got
things work. So.
trade a third round and CH for Hopkins. Hey, if we get,
I wish it was that easy.
I wish
Too
it
cool.
was. What are you guys drinking? What
Yes.
beers? We got Limitless Brewery out here, guys. We're drinking. I got a triple IPA. I left my cup up there, but I'll head back up that way.
Yeah, I think we're all.
Rada
good at
says
IPAs
it's
at the moment.
Karloftis season. Yeah,
Well, it has to be Karloftis. I mean,
it's about to be.
he's literally the number 1 D end on the roster at the moment, so that's kind of scary to think about.
He's
So,
got a good motor, though. You ever
well,
think about his motor? When you have a
sure.
guy like Karloftis that has a great motor, like that's pretty decent spot to be in.
all right, guys. Well, we got to wrap up here in just a moment, so let's go ahead and do our final giveaway of the evening. So as of right now, it's just going to be a ticket, but it's going to be a jersey of their choice. Now, we did have a couple tables that left, Tanner. Is that right?
We did.
So-
But looks like they left phone numbers and stuff, so we're gonna enter it all in.
Okay.
Here's the big prize, everybody. A jersey of your choice. You'll see me afterwards. We'll get you hooked up.
Tanner, I have a question for you too, though. So those listening online, are we going to do a raffle for them, or we'll do our own drawing for the ones online?
Nope, they'll be part of this one here. I got you guys in. You're right here. You're ready to go. So we're going to get you picked here. You guys, if you commented, you are entered in. Facebook user, I'll find out who you are. Register a Facebook user. but I got you. Don't you worry. So
Okay.
make sure I got everybody. Oh, Dave, my bad.
Yeah, we got Dave to put in there. Facebook user. I think Facebook user could be Jason, but I don't know.
Most likely Carlos or
You
Trip.
got to say their name.
Jason's brother. So, all right, here we go. I'm gonna go get this picked, guys.
All right, our last picker is left. So.
Well, there he goes. Let's figure it out who it is.
All right.
Figure it out. Who's it going to be?
I just hope it's not a Broncos fan. That's all.
That would be a problem. That would be a problem.
Who would have thought that it ended up being the Facebook user who got
Facebook.
Yes, that was on Facebook user. I'll message you. We'll get you the. I'll get you the info for the jersey. Get you hooked up. With the end and we'll take care of. So, wow. What did you say?
People says I do use Facebook. So
Is that
if you use Facebook, does that mean you're also?
do we? Is that
I'm a
the,
Facebook user.
is that the equivalent of, guys? I think that's the equivalent of a protected second round pick. We cannot announce the name of that person that did that because it's a protected second round pick. Kind of like in that Aaron Rodgers trade that we just talked about.
Well, what do we think of the Facebook user, Tanner? Are we excited for Facebook user?
I think you're offline, dude. You probably need to sign
I am
out,
excited. All right, guys, let's send this thing out the right way for this Chiefs walk. The only way we know how to do as Chiefs fans. Thank you for attending. We appreciate you guys for hopping in here and
Facebook user.
Facebook user, I'll take care of you, buddy. Don't you worry. Let's go! Outro!